Hi, Anand. Welcome to Cashflow Convos. It's a pleasure to have you on our show. And how you been, man? What's going on?
Yeah, been good, man. Thank you so much for having me, guys. I already warned you in advance that if my British accent comes out, it's because I'm a bit of a chameleon. So, but
Did you used to live in Britain or?
no, I never used to live in Britain, but I have a sister who actually lives in Cheshire Lim. So it's a small village out in Manchester. And so, yeah, I know a bit about Yorkshire pudding and a bit about, those things. So
yeah, it's decent, man. But like legit, we've seen you on Instagram, TikTok, and you've gone viral.
Thank you.
So first I wanted to ask you, like, what are the methods you use to blow up in a sense?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think in the beginning, I had no idea that I was going to blow up, honestly. And I was just doing it for fun. So for about 6 years, I was just creating content. I was doing stand-up comedy around Dubai. And, the only people in the audience was my mom and my sister. And I think one of the main methods to success with going viral online is to have a very strong hook. Something in the opener that just catches people's attention. And then I think retaining their attention throughout is something that's very important as well. And I think attention spans nowadays are so short, so you want to keep it strong and you want to keep it under a minute is what I found to work best with Instagram and TikTok. Still haven't mastered YouTube Shorts, but I'm trying to get there as well. So I would say these things, and also shareability is super important for being viral. I just met up with a famous LA content creator named Adam W. Really nice guy, super humble, and he's got like 9 million followers. And he told me one of the main key things is to not post too frequently, because I was posting every single day on the come up. And he said, you want to aim for 3 times a week, something around there. And he also said, don't utilize too many words. You don't have to have so much dialogue in it. If you want it to be viral, universal, it has to be nonverbal. A majority of the population nowadays don't speak English. So you want your content to be shareable and understandable, with the concept being clear without you having to vocalize things.
Yes. Would that be 3 times a week on Instagram or TikTok?
I would say on both platforms, 3 times a week. I feel like on TikTok you can post a lot more frequently and get away with it. But I feel like on Instagram, you don't want to get people annoyed at you by like your face showing up too many times. So
yeah, 100%. I feel like you'll do it with Sundeep. I feel like that works like very well. How did you come up with that idea?
Yeah, absolutely. So it was actually, funnily enough, in the same studio that we're sitting in. I shot the first episode with Sundeep, and he called me nonstop, and he was like, "Let's do a podcast together." And I was like, "No, I don't know how this dynamic is gonna work." But he just kept pestering me. And one day he called me up and he's like, "I booked the podcast studio and I paid for it. Just come." And I was like, "Well, fair enough, So I showed up, and our dynamics seemed to work really, really well, because I'm more of like the serious but like fair but authoritative kind of a role in the thing, and he's more of a
uncle
Indian uncle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how did you get like 96 million views? I see that on Instagram.
Yeah, so that's the funny thing, is we were never expecting the job interview thing to take off, because while we were sitting here, he was just like, "Why don't you interview me for a position?" Right? And I was like, "But I don't know how that'll work." Funnily enough, in one of the first videos before the 94 million one, I was interviewing him. And I didn't have a resume or a paper. So I was like, "So it says here on your CV," and you can see on the camera, I'm literally just pointing at my hand. And for some reason that went viral too. So I think it went viral because, every single person nowadays are going for job interviews, and every single day. Yeah, it's relatable, isn't it? And it's like, it's annoying, because people deal with so many like hiring managers. They're asking irrelevant questions, why do you want to work for us? It's very obvious. Like, we want to be able to support our families. So
yeah, I feel like that's the best type of comedy, it's relatable and the audience can understand. I feel like, so do you think that's an important factor of comedy as well? Or content creation online?
Absolutely, yeah. I think relatability is one of the most important things. You have to be able to touch the hearts of people worldwide, So everyone's looking for a job, and everyone's seeking people to work at their companies. So it was...
Definitely. I feel like that duo works very well. But how did you actually meet Sundeep?
So funny enough, Sundeep has been in comedy for 12 years. A lot of people don't know that. I've been doing it 6 years. So I would always see him around comedy shows. But Sundeep's more of an introvert. He's very, I use the word, I don't know if I can say it on here, but I say that he's specially gifted, if you know what I mean. Rhymes with artistic. But he's very brilliant. He's a chess genius. He's the director of his company. but he's an introvert. So every time after a comedy show, I would hang out with the boys after the show, you know, have some drinks, have a laugh. But he would always just go straight home. And so I would see him around. He would come to comedy shows and kill it. He's won many awards for comedy, but he never got universally recognized up until we did the videos together. So I always looked at him as a colleague and a fellow comedian.
Yeah. You've been at Dubai Opera as well. I've seen it.
Yeah.
How was that?
That was the highlight of my life, man. It was brilliant, man. 800 people, but it's, you know, Dubai Opera is it's like a dream of mine come true. I was born and raised in Dubai.
Wow.
This country has given me everything. And when we got to perform there, I was hosting the night. And when I just came out and I saw it, it was beautiful, man.
Yeah. No, I'm hearing your accent. It sounds a little bit like Canadian / British. Is there like a reason? Do you have like a?
Yeah, so there's a mix. So I studied in the university at Buffalo, which is in New York.
Oh, okay.
And you know, I've been to the UK a couple of times, so it's a bit of a mix of both.
I'm getting that Andrew Tate vibe. You know, that Andrew Tate accent.
Yeah, my friend, you have to understand this. I'm over here at the CASHFLOW CONVOS podcast, and we're doing business things right now.
Where's the shades? You need the shades.
Yeah, I need the shades. I left them at home, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So how did you get into comedy? What made you do comedy instead of the normal, you know, the normal businesses like lawyer, accountant, doctor?
Well, my entire life, man, I was the class clown. My teachers, famously, my Indian teachers used to always say, "You're an outstanding boy," because they would always make me stand outside the class, which is just cringe to this day. I used to get so annoyed at that. But I remember watching Russell Peters when I was about 10 or 11. Which I don't think that's age appropriate to be watching Russell Peters, but I was with my dad and I was bonding over it because we're both Indian, obviously, and Russell Peters Indian, but from Canada, right? And so I was like, this is a profession. I can make money doing this. It's incredible, right?
Yeah.
And then just a couple of months, maybe 2 months ago, I had dinner with Russell Peters, sat down with him at a cigar lounge.
No way.
And me and Sundeep, and it was brilliant. Like I was talking comedy with him. He was talking about how he's been watching our reels. So it was a surreal experience.
So how did that feel then, actually, like meeting one of your idols?
Yeah, it was amazing. You know, we were talking about cigars. He knows a lot more about it than me. We were talking about jiu-jitsu. He knows a lot more about it than me. And then Sundeep was doing his famous Texas accent for Russell Peters' wife over the phone, which was really funny too. I was a bit like just blown away at the fact that I'm sitting at a dinner table with him the entire time. And then he was like, "Oh, I'm going on tour to India." And I was like, "Oh, whereabouts?" He's like, "Mumbai." And we had a show coming up in Mumbai as well. So I looked at him and I wanted to bond. And I was like, "Oh, are you performing at the Habitat as well?" Now, for those of you that don't know, Habitat is a very, very small club inside of Mumbai that me and Sundeep were about to perform at. And he looked at us and he's like, "No, I'm performing arenas."
Oh.
You know, like thousands. And I was like, "Yes, yeah, you are, Russell Peters. Yeah, you are. Good for you." So that was quite embarrassing. But
Have you been to like London, like almost like O2,
yeah.
Hammersmith Apollo?
Yeah, so I was just in London in December with Sundeep. We just performed at the Comedy Corner Shop. Shout out to them. They're super awesome. So we just did a show over there, which was really funny because when we first arrived, we were in London. We were staying at Brentford.
Okay.
And, you know, we took the train. And as we got to the show, we were a bit late. And so we get there and we get to the Comedy Store, which is, you know, central London. And I give the phone to my mom and I'm like, "You must be so proud," right? And I'm standing there, I'm posing. I'm like, get this picture. And then they call me up. They're like, "You're not performing at the Comedy Store." It's just like that. You're mad. It's the place down the road.
Oh.
Like, okay.
Yeah, nasty. Have you ever done any collabs with anyone else, like other than Sundeep?
Yeah. So we've done a couple of shows around India, but that was also with Sundeep. I've performed around Dubai, India, and the UK, but I've never performed in the US. So that's somewhere we're looking at this year.
That's a bigger market, isn't it?
Very big market, yeah, and a huge amount of our audience is from the US. And actually, funnily enough, a huge amount of our demographic is from South Africa.
Is it?
Yeah, huge. On TikTok, we have 1 million followers. I would say about 60% of them are South African.
No way.
So we want to go to Cape Town. We want to check out, you know, Bunny Chow, everything.
Most definitely, man. But yeah, in terms of like collaborations, like other comedians, stuff like that, have you had any?
Yeah, definitely. I'm always collaborating. There's a lot of comedians out in Dubai that I love to collaborate with. You know, Abs Ali, Sean, who's my parents are divorced. He's known for the Egyptian accent and his funny Indian accent as well. Denise, Ty, Ima. There's so many comedians, and I think the comedy scene over here in Dubai is like a bubble. It hasn't burst just yet. It's really starting to with the whole Dubai Comedy Week and Abu Dhabi Comedy Week, and they're flying out Dave Chappelle and Andrew Schultz.
He's quite big, isn't it, Andrew?
It's quite big, yeah. So looking forward to collaborating with all of them, when they come through.
Would you add anyone to the group? Do you and Sandeep?
Yeah. I think our dynamic works really well when it's the two of us.
These two are the best, man. You can't go wrong.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Whenever I go on TikTok and Instagram, you're always coming up.
Yeah.
Sandeep and you always joking.
Yeah.
You're just making people laugh, innit?
It's the hook as well. So when you're scrolling past, you see like a hook and you get hooked onto it. And even the end, it was like a funny ending as well. So I feel like you've kind of mastered that kind of.
But yours are like 1 minute now, isn't it? How many minutes is it?
Yeah, like about 1 minute. Sometimes we stretch it to like a minute 15, minute 20, because we want to keep the pacing. We want to still keep it natural. The dialogue. Sometimes we have to cut a lot. So a lot of people don't know this, but in the beginning, I was editing all of the videos, and so I'm a very I'm kind of a perfectionist, and so I would stay up until 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning when we were going viral. Sandeep in the beginning had I think 1,000 followers. I had 5,000 followers, and I just started posting every single day when it was going viral, and it would hit 10 million, 50 million, 60 million. And I started having a mental breakdown because I was not capable of managing it and keeping up with the output, right? So I called up Sandeep, and he was on vacation in Tanzania. He was on the beach sipping a mocktail, and he was just like, "Bro, just take a chill pill, Jack and Jill." I'm like, I'm losing my mind over here. Yeah. So up until just a few months ago, I was editing every single video, because also comedic timing is very important when you edit videos, so.
Oh, yeah. You've done a lot of videos, I think, in Ahmed Amal's luxury supercar.
Shout out Ahmed. He's amazing.
We did a podcast with him last year, innit?
Yeah, he's very cool. Yeah, very humble guy.
Hopefully we do a part 2 soon. That's coming soon, hopefully, yeah.
Absolutely,
yeah. So let's talk business about figures, yeah? How much money do you reckon you've made so far from social media?
Yeah, man. So funny enough, social media here in Dubai or the UAE, it's not well known to a lot of people, but they don't pay based on views, especially I can't really say that. I have to preface by saying they don't pay on TikTok and Instagram for views. On Facebook, they do. On Snapchat, they do, if you have a Snapchat series.
Is it based on followers then? Or?
It's based on mainly brands. So brands reaching out to you.
Sponsorships, stuff like that.
Yeah, sponsorships. So that's where we make a lot of our bread and butter.
What would you say, 6-7 figures? What we hit?
I don't kiss and tell, boys, but I would say we're hitting the 6 figures now. If there's no tax in Dubai, so the tax man can't come to get me. Listen, but we're trying to set up a business trade license to get it all in the up and up. But I would say I've quit my job now. The brand deals are coming in really well, and we're making upwards of 100,000 to 200,000 dirhams in a month, sometimes 2 months. So it's
if someone was to start off now, how quick do you think they'd see success?
I think as quick as they want to see success, honestly, because I didn't see success for 6 years, but I was posting just random stuff, and then I saw all of this happen in the past 6 months. 2 years ago, I was sleeping on my sister's couch. I didn't have my own place to live because I couldn't afford to pay rent. And now I've got my own place, own car, even though Sandeep roasts my car all the time. The Renault Duster is a fine car. Romania, they make fine cars. But yeah, so now, I'm able to, I've got my golden visa as well for 10 years. So my financial situation is I'm quite blessed.
Yes, definitely. So you mentioned you've done a lot of stand-up.
Yeah.
Have you always had positive reactions, or have you ever been booed?
Oh, no, man. You have to have a thick skin in this business. Yeah, I've gotten roasted crazy, man. But the good thing is I'm one of the roasters here in Dubai, so I know how to give it back as well. I've had a gentleman in the back of a room one time just start heckling nonstop.
No way.
And I just went for the throat. I'm like, you look like discount Just Soul. Your chains are fake. You probably got them from Dragon Mart. It's a store over here. So... yeah, man, you just have to be able to give it back. You can't ever relinquish control to hecklers, because that means that you've lost control, and now the crowd's not going to listen to you. So yeah,
so have you always done that back? You've always given it back. I think I've seen Jimmy Carr when I've seen some amazing when comebacks. So when someone's heckling Jimmy Carr, his comebacks are just crazy.
Oh yeah, he's brilliant at it, man. Yeah,
and Paul Chowdhury.
His comebacks are crazy as well. Yeah. So what would you say is your best crowd then in terms of country?
It varies. I would say Indians are an amazing crowd. They're just happy to see you there, to be honest. And the UK, I love their sense of humor, but they're a bit more of a tough crowd because I think they're so used to expecting quality content, which makes me write more every time I'm going out to the UK. I would say like a mix of Indian and American crowd is probably my best crowd.
So you're on Instagram and TikTok, YouTube. What about, have you ever done live stream comedy?
Yeah, man. So it's funny enough, I've wanted to do live streams quite a bit. Sandeep is always on the lives, doing live streams on his TikTok and
Twitch.
Stuff. That's what you mean? Yeah. I've been wanting to do that because imagine how funny it would be if like...
You should do like a day in the life, innit? Like walking around, eating.
Right, yeah.
Where we're going out, I don't know.
Yeah, day in the life. Or like even teaching Sandeep how to play like Call of Duty or something would be absolutely brilliant, right? Like, be hilarious. So yeah, that's something I've considered, just not jumped into.
I think that's getting quite popular now as well, isn't it? Like all the streaming platforms. I've seen a lot of people do that. Like, you know, like Aiden Ross, Kai Cenat's gone quite big as well now.
Yeah, funny enough, I don't know if you know Vitaly, but Vitaly, he hit me up recently on Instagram. Yeah, and I used to watch him all the time as a kid, you know, the whole like running naked on a football field and like the pranks. And so he was like, I'll come to Dubai and, you know, maybe we can collaborate on something. But it's like, if Vitaly's watching this, I'm still down. I'm just saying, but I'm saying like, as your brand grows, you want to be mindful of like who you collaborate with, because you never know, you know, like what the association is. I know Vitaly's doing like his own streams now that are a bit out there. And so like I have to, you know, I hit up Dan Bilzerian in the DMs and we were chatting for a bit. It was really crazy.
Bilzerian, did he reach out to you or you hit him?
I saw that he was following me, and then I just reached out. I'm like, let's have something happen, you know. And then he's like, "What can you sponsor? Can you promote, you know, his brand?"
Okay.
And I was like, "Yeah, sure, no worries." I sent him a proposal, $150,000. I was like, "Sounds about right?" Yeah. And he's like, "Mate, I don't even pay that much for 8 million follower account, right?" And I'm like, "That's how much you pay for like a hand in poker? Like, what are you talking about?" And then at the end, I'm like, "If this doesn't work out, just have me on the yacht, a couple of women, you know." Me and Sandeep will be there. He hasn't got back to me yet, but
no, that's decent. So you've actually reached out to see, like, you spoke to some big names. Like,
yeah, man. Funny you mentioned Tate as well. I have a whole story about Tate, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, have you met him as well?
So I did meet him very briefly. He came to TK MMA, you know, Tam Khan's gym. I saw that you guys had
done a podcast
with him. Yeah. So funny enough, this was before all of the fame and everything. I saw that he had come to Dubai and he was just doing a sparring session. In you know, it was an open.
Oh yeah, I see that in the ring, isn't it?
Yeah, in the ring, right? So I took a video outside of the ring where he just comes, he fist bumps me, and then he gets into the ring. He starts like messing this dude up.
Yeah.
I posted it on my TikTok, and at the time I had like 2,000 followers on TikTok. And the video got 50 million views in a few days.
No way.
That was the one video that literally showed like Andrew Tate is in Dubai. That was my video that literally blew up and everybody was watching it. And then a week later, I had 50,000 followers on TikTok. And then a week after that, my TikTok got shut down.
No way. They banned him on TikTok.
Oh yeah, is that because of the Tate?
Because of that, yeah, they shut it down. And I fast forward a couple of years, you know, I grew my own TikTok, never mentioned Tate at all. But then on Instagram, I was doing my whole series where I think you guys might have seen where I have the impression of Tate, the Tate impressions. And I do it with Denise, where I'm like, you know, I'm like, are you looking for a boyfriend? You know, I expect you to be at home cooking dinner for me by the time I'm home.
You got the hand gesture as
well. The hand gesture as well. You know, the Matrix has attacked all of us, my friend. So funny enough, I start posting these videos, right? And so one day, this is the craziest thing. I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but I have a common friend named Denise. Yeah. And we're in the podcast studio, actually Podster. And I put on the Tate sunglasses and I'm sitting there like that. And she looks at me and goes, "You know, I used to date Tristan Tate." And I go, "Fuck off." Like, there's no fun. What are you saying, right? And I'm dressed here as her brother, right? Like with the sunglasses. She's like, "Yeah, I used to date him and nothing really happened out of it. But like, so I'm like, so there's a chance they could see this." And she's like, "Yeah, probably. I have his WhatsApp. Look." And she shows me the WhatsApp. They're just texting back and forth, right? So I think nothing of it. We create a reel. It gets 20 million views. Just blows up, right? And Tristan finds it, messages her and goes, "Can I swear on this?"
Yeah.
So he goes, "Who is this badly imitating Andrew?" And the only thing I could think of was, I was like, does he like me? Has he said anything good about me? And she's like, "Oh yeah, you know, he's just a stand-up comedian. He actually likes you." And he's like, fair enough. And then he takes to Twitter, screenshots the picture of me, my face on Twitter, posts it. And he goes, "I used to date this woman, but not anymore. I guess this is what happens when you don't have the real Tate in your life. You settle for the imitation Tate. So I'm like, oh, okay, he's coming for me with the disses, right? Yeah. But then I was like, fair enough. And so there was like a whole thing where like
was it Andrew who posted that or Tristan?
It was Tristan who posted, but Andrew knows about me as well because I can't say too much, I think, but I'll ask her and then maybe we can keep this in. But she just went to the Tate's mansion. Like she was chilling with them like a week ago. She like sent me videos and stuff. And she was like, yeah, we were all talking about like the reels that we had created and stuff. So they know about me. My plan of action is as soon as they get out of Romania, they're going to come to Dubai because he has places here. And
collab with them, isn't it?
Fake Tate versus real Tate. Yeah,
it'd be viral.
Yeah, it'd be viral.
That'll blow up.
It'd be quite funny.
Yeah, but in terms of impersonations, can you do anyone else? Or was it?
I can do, well, it's really interesting that you should mention that because, well, that's a bloody good question. I don't know if you know about this, but, there's a hierarchy in these kind of things. And you have to be able to expand on that. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I haven't got a clue.
There's 12. I'll give you a couple more hints. I'll give you a couple more hints. There's 12 rules for life and you bloody well follow it. I'm butchering it right now. It's Jordan Peterson.
Oh, so I don't really watch it that much, probably.
Yeah. So I used to do quite a lot of the Jordan Peterson impressions, and then I have quite a few. The man was a fanboy. He bought T-shirts of mine. The luck of the Irish, proper 12, forged Irish whiskey. Yeah. So I can do a bit of an Irish accent. Yeah.
What about accents? Can you do like lots of accents?
I can do a bit of an Irish accent. Sorry, I said British right now, but I can do a bit of an Irish accent. Yeah, my mum's out chasing a dingo, mate. The Australian. Yeah, can't. Yeah, sorry, can't. Yeah, can let us borrow your lighter.
What a British.
British. Yeah, mate. Look. Thought I'd play a little bit of Call of Duty, but instead I'm here on a podcast with the CASHFLOW Convos. Really love you guys, brilliant gentlemen.
Egyptian.
MashaAllah, Habibi. I want to tell you, you guys are the perfect mix. I mean, you have the brown, but you're down, and you have the, I don't know, but you are just beautiful. MashaAllah. I love the fade. I wish I had hair. But wallahi, if I had hair, I look like you.
Have you actually lost your hair?
Yeah. I mean,
shaved you off.
No, so I was actually going bald when I was like 16, right? And I tried a hair transplant in Mumbai, India. Don't get a hair transplant in India, right? Because my hair grows straight out of my head now.
Okay.
So it's like, it's not a good look.
So it still grows?
It still grows, yeah. But I've never tried to fully grow it out because like it just doesn't look good.
What about hair transplant? No, interesting.
I did it in Mumbai, but the thing is my hair grows straight up now. So basically it looks like, like when you're in a horror movie and like a girl's like, I've got goosebumps. I'm like, yeah, no, touch my hair, like feel it, It's bad. So
you look good anyway.
Yeah, no,
thank you. It suits you, isn't it?
Yeah, when I was in high school, my high school crush, every guy wanted this girl. And she came up to me one day when I came to school bald. She was like, I really like the way you look right now. And I was like, I'm keeping this. I'm rolling with this, right? So.
Yeah, but what about accent? In terms of accents, any other accents you can do?
Working on, I could do. Let's see. So, sir, look, hello, ma'am, sir. I can do a little bit of a Filipino accent, and it really depends on CASHFLOW Convos. We can talk about professionalism, or we can talk about whatever you want. And I could do. I said Irish. Working on my Scottish accent, but it's really bad. And it's just, I think that's. Can do a little bit of an Indian accent as well, of course. Yeah, as my father used to always say. I think I can do a better Sundeep accent than Sundeep.
You sound exactly like
Sundeep's facial expressions. Like I think that's what gets it.
Yeah, because he's got a lot of actions. He's like, "Hello, everybody. My name is Sundeep, and everybody loves to call me Sundeep." Guys.
So what's next for you then? What are you doing now? Like future plans?
So the plans now is a Netflix series. We're gonna dominate Netflix. Shout out! Yeah, I mean, no one's contacted us yet, but we're waiting. But we were in talks with Netflix India, trying to set something up. An Office series I think would be brilliant over there. And I want to do more. I used to be known for puns. I used to do a lot of puns on the street where I would just go out and give puns. So I want to do a bit more of that with brands. Brand collaborations here in Dubai is everything. And so I want to do more of that. So then, brands want to collab with you when they can see you pitching their product. It's not necessarily when they see, because me and Sundeep used to do the podcast all the time, right? And it's in the studio. So brands can't really see like, okay, are we going to do a product placement? That could be an angle. But then when we really started seeing brands reach out to us and pay big money is when we started doing like the Ahmed Amwell luxury super. When we started going out there and now they can see us in their brand, which is super important. So I would advise anyone who's in content creation looking for brand deals and the money, go out there to different brands. Tell them you'll make videos for free in the beginning, literally. Just collab with them and make a video at their store. So now other brands can see how you would do it.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. So I know you in the corporate lifestyle.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to become a comedian?
What inspired me to become a comedian? I would say trauma is a big one. There's a lot of childhood trauma there, man. I mean, my dad used to beat my ass, but he would go to work, come back, so I didn't really have time to hang out with him. I was obese as a kid, and I was balding, so that didn't help. So I had humor as a self-defense mechanism and to be liked by the girls. So that's how it started originally, and now I just love making people laugh. There's so much suffering in the world. And if I can brighten someone's day by just making them laugh, it's one of the greatest gifts.
Definitely. What was your biggest fear when first starting off?
My biggest fear. Do you mean like stand-up comedy?
Yeah. So in terms of going into the career, did you have any
Yeah, I think one of the biggest fears was just I'm a people pleaser. I'm still trying to work on that, and I think just wanting to be liked versus being authentic to myself is a big thing. Because even, for example, like the videos I make with Sundeep, I'm more than happy to take the back seat to make Sundeep shine because I think that's how our dynamic works best. But at the same time, there's a part of me that's like, you can find your own personality and your own voice and stuff like that. And so I think, with finding my own voice, it's like kind of a comfort thing almost with Sundeep as well, because it's like, okay, I know what's working right now. Yeah. Do I want to deviate away from that and try to find my own voice? So that's kind of like that scares me in a way. And that's something that daily I'm still trying to get out there.
Yeah. So have you ever felt pressured to make everyone laugh?
Yeah, for sure, man. Every time I'm on stage, I'm trying to make people laugh.
Yeah. You must get on in the streets when people see you, they're like, do you feel the pressure?
Yeah, definitely. I think not mostly for me. They tell me to do the Tate impression nowadays, but when it's on the street, just say hi, take a picture, those kind of things. So,
what about on stage?
On stage, it's a whole different dynamic. I'm there to make you laugh. So even if there's someone in the crowd who's sitting there grumpy, not really, then immediately my eyes are gonna lock on them, and I'll be like, let's talk to you, sir. I want to see how I can make this person laugh. But sometimes you shouldn't really hyper focus on that, because if a room with 200 people, 199 are laughing, and then there's that one guy that's not laughing, is it really your jokes or is it really their sense of humor?
Everyone's got a different personality.
Everyone's got a different personality. Yeah. So
what else do you do in Dubai? Have you got any other businesses?
So I do a lot of things. I do the brand deals, but then on the side, I also work closely with content creators, trying to make them go viral. So I'm trying to build a course at the moment.
Nice.
So trying to, do mentorship on people that want to go viral. I kind of have the blueprint for it right now. So I'm just working on setting that up. On the side, I like to do martial arts. So I do jiu-jitsu, kickboxing is huge, taekwondo, those kind of things, just to keep my mental sharp, So
let's talk about the dark side of comedy.
Sure.
So a lot of people, they feel the pressure to make people laugh. And I've seen a lot of comedians that go through depression as well. So what's your opinion on that?
I think that's something that's not spoken about quite a lot. And I think you have to be open and honest with it. If you want to make people laugh, you have to first be secure and happy in and of yourself. A lot of comedians that I know of are dealing with a lot of things. And I think they have to speak out to their friends or family or loved ones. I think that the stage can be a really great outlet, but it's not really therapy, because a lot of people say comedy is therapy, but I think you should still go to therapy. But I think, in terms of the depressing side of it, I would say that's just the scrutiny of once you've gone on stage and then you come off, how do you deal with your inner dialogue? Do you go home and sit and think, okay, they all hate me. That was shit. I'm being kicked out of the village right now, because it's quite a ancestral, primal feeling in your brain, right? You're going up in front of the village, so to speak, and then if they reject you, it's almost like you've been kicked out. So it's like a primal. So do you get that feeling? Because I've seen over the years a ton of people who literally will come, they'll perform 2 times, and then I never see them again, right? Or do you go back home and think, okay, yeah, that joke could have used some work. I'm going to workshop this one. I'm going to add a punch to this one. So it's really about how you see things. I'm a very positive person. So I always look at things with a thick skin and think, okay, they didn't like it because maybe the vibe was off tonight. Maybe the host didn't do his job. Maybe there was like someone was blending a drink in the middle of my set, you know? But it's not that I know that I've had really amazing sets, so I know this bad set doesn't define me. That's the most important thing.
Oh, so you've never felt like you've never like been down or?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Okay. I've been down. I was down yesterday. So that's
in terms of like if you get like a negative reaction, that's never like affected you. Or?
No, it's definitely affected me, man. I think it's just about be like seeing how you deal with it. Like I've put up stuff online that people just haven't loved and they've absolutely like hated and admonished me for it. And I think it's just, this is another funny take, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this. A lot of YouTubers who I've been watching recently, I really like commentary YouTubers. I like people who like commentate on like various things and give their opinion. And they say when there's something like a scandal or like something that's, the public is not really taking your side, right? They say the best way forward is just to move on and not address it, because if you address it too much, then it becomes a big thing. Yeah. And I want to get your guys' take on that, because I feel like sometimes you do owe an apology when an apology is due, but then do you think it's better to just kind of push it forward, or do you think?
Yeah, I feel like I've heard this thing where they say wait 3 days. If people are still talking about it after 3 days, then it's like, okay, this is serious. But usually after 3 days, I feel like someone's done something else. Everyone's, especially if you're in like the public eye. So let's say it's a celebrity, or he's done something, or someone's gone at him, and then after 3 days, if people are still talking about it, then it's okay. But if people forgot about it, because after 3 days, someone must have done something else, and people have moved on. So I think, I would rate 3 days.
Like 3 days without 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, 3 days if public's coming at you. They say it's like a guideline of what you need.
So I feel like that, personally for me, but unless it's like something really bad that you shouldn't have done, and it's like, okay, maybe I've done something,
Even you must get a lot of comments on TikTok and Instagram. Do you reply to every comment, or do you just let it flow?
At a certain point, you can't even reply to every comment. I mean, there's even channels out there that have copied us. And literally, there's a YouTube channel that has 90,000 subscribers. That's not us. They have more subscribers than us on YouTube. And the guy literally is so bold. He's put in the thing, 4 business inquiries, message Rajan Preet 94, like whatever.
his own email.
Yeah, his own email. So like he's literally scamming people under the guise that it's me and Sundeep, right? So like I'm trying to like cut that out. And so you can never reply to every comment. You can never temper every flame. In the beginning, when we were going viral, every like channel was just reposting our content on LinkedIn. They were getting millions of views on Instagram, TikTok, but you can't really hold it back.
You can't copyright it. Can you copyright your content?
You can copyright it, but it's like there's a whole process. And unless if it's monetized, you can. You can't really copyright it unless you already have videos on YouTube established, which was tough because we were still putting our stuff out there. Yeah. And the one thing that I did take away as a positive spin from all that is again, going back to Tate, which I know people are going to say I'm glazing, but I'm just going to say, he did say something that was very poignant. He said, let people copy your stuff and repost it, because that's how you get massively viral.
Famous.
I feel like that's what happened to Tate. I feel like he's had like loads of people clip his stuff and repost it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what
100%.
Some people pay accounts, I think, to get more viral.
Yeah. If you repost our videos, you get 1 month free at Hustlers University. It's $59.99.
No, but I feel like negativity is it's not always, I don't think it's always a bad thing.
Yeah.
I feel like in terms of even in Instagram, TikTok, if someone's commenting something, regardless if it's hate or like bad or good, I feel like it's still kind of making your algorithm go higher. So it might push your content further and might push you to someone that might like your content.
Absolutely. Yeah. You always want to be a bit divisive. I think that's why even like the Tate videos with Denise did so well, because I'm talking about having multiple girlfriends, but I'm saying the relationship has to be closed off on her end. And that's just the comments exploded, right?
Because I've seen that where it's like there's a lot of people that are like like bashing this guy, like negative, or like someone would do something, like say something wrong on purpose, like get a figure or fact wrong, and everyone's correcting them, and then it's just boosting, it's just boosting.
They do it on purpose too,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
is brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like, so yeah, sometimes negativity, you know, it could be seen as a good thing.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Are you coming to Hammersmith Apollo anytime or?
What's
London?
that, sorry?
Hammersmith Apollo.
You want to see him in London, yeah?
Comedy, stand-up comedy in London.
Coming down to London.
Stand-up
When are
comedy.
you coming down next?
Yeah, we're coming down July 25th. So we have a show coming out on July 25th, Cadogan Hall.
Okay.
It's a theater. I'm not sure exactly where it, which I should know it, but it's a Cadogan Hall. I know that. It's me, Sandeep, Abs Ali, and Sean. My parents are divorced. We're doing a showcase night over there. So it's super exciting. All four of us have never done a show together in the UK. The last one we did was Dubai Opera. So it's going to be...
Yeah.
And what advice would you give to someone who wants to start their career in comedy?
Just start, man. Take the first few steps, get on stage no matter how nervous you are. Write your first 3 minutes, make it tight. If you think, don't do one long story in the beginning, literally have jokes segmented throughout. Ask your friend, have a comedy buddy, you know, throw the jokes alongside them. If you're starting in content creation, that's a whole different ballpark. I would say just get a good iPhone if you can and edit the videos yourself, you know, like trial and error, and have a good hook, like I said.
Yeah. So would you advise people to start on content creation or comedy, like let's say?
I would say it depends on what they really want to do. So if you want to do stand-up comedy, that's well and good. Just make sure that you use the content to supplement your stand-up comedy lifestyle. I see so many stand-up comedians here in Dubai and abroad who have been doing stand-up comedy for 15 years and they have, you know, no followers or no fans. They can't sell tickets to a 100-seater or like to a 50-seater because their content game is shit. And so if you are a stand-up comedian, make sure you're recording clips of you on stage and keep posting content. You know, crowd work, you know, a lot of comedians don't want to post their material online because they don't want to burn through their material. But to that I say, just do crowd work. And crowd work is just unlimited material that you have that you can post online. And do podcasts, do all of these things. So I would say do it side by side. Never miss out on social media in today's day and age because there's so much money to be made, so many tickets to be sold, and so much exposure to be had.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a lot of people start with sketches as well. You've started with sketches as well.
Yeah. I used to do a lot of sketches.
Yeah. So what was that transition like from doing sketches to like actually stand up?
Yeah, it was good. I think, you know, the sketches were always alongside of the stand up. And I think they helped me express myself in terms of the different accents. And I could try something more out there, more like crazy. So yeah, the sketches were always fun. And I think it really like gave me an outlet to flesh out jokes as well. Because on TikTok, for example, if you're a stand-up comedian, this is something that I found brilliant, is you can test out material on TikTok. You know, I think Mark Normand, a famous comic from New York, said he tests out all of his material on Twitter. So if he's not sure about a joke, he'll tweet it, and then he'll see the reception on the joke, and then he'll decide whether to include it in his material. So
Do you have a script or you're just freestyling it?
every good comedian has a script. And if they tell you they don't, they're lying.
You just memorize it. You and Sandeep memorize the script.
So when it's our duo act, we have a script. But we also go a bit organic in our duo act. We ask questions from the public, and then we take it from there. So in our London show, we were doing that. We're opening up the panel for questions. And then when it's just myself, I definitely have a script, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel like in terms of inspirations, like I feel like a lot of the big comedians, they're always like writing scripts. Like I've seen Kevin Hart talk about it, Dave Chappelle, where they're working on scripts and then they're watching someone, like they're watching, I think it was Chris Rock. They had a story where they were watching Chris Rock and they seen a joke. So they wanted to change their, like just to alter it. So are you always altering it and stuff like that?
Yeah, always altering it, always trying to make it best, the best package that it possibly can be. You know, Jimmy Carr, in one of his podcasts he had done recently, he mentioned this whole thing about how he tries to do his jokes at 92 beats per minute. And that was something that really like just stuck with me because he was like, that's the right pace at which if you tell jokes, the audience will be able to react appropriately and it's the best timing. And I started training with that whole 92 beats per minute mindset. And let me tell you, it's fucking slow as hell. I don't know how he does it. It's kind of like if you were to tell a joke, you'd be like, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? That's how slow 92 beats per minute is. I'm like, how
Yeah.
So and then, you know, just with workshopping the jokes, Stephen Grant, brilliant guy from the UK. He has helped write for Jimmy Carr and Ricky Gervais and them. And I took a class with him here in Dubai, and he's brilliant as well. And he said, you know, he literally records every one of his sets, and then he goes home, transcribes it, puts it on an Excel sheet, and then moves it based on like highlights, yellow and green, which jokes worked, which didn't. I'm not as analytical whatsoever. I have a notes app on my phone. I just write the jokes there, but I do record every one of my sets. That's super important as a comic. You have to watch it back. And if you cringe too much at watching your videos back, you're shit. No, I'm kidding. you're just record your audio.
Yeah. What about Sandeep? How is he like in terms of like writing?
He's like, he doesn't write as much as he should. He's very lazy. And I say this because I love him. I want him to do better. He doesn't talk about his real life as much as he should in his stand-up. He does sometimes. But he is, you know, he's the same as me as comedians. We procrastinate a lot. So he has to write more material.
Do you have a team as well, or is it just you two?
It's just us two. Yeah, I have videographers that we've hired who help us now on the go for sketches and things like that, editors, but most of the time I edit most of the things myself.
You edit your clips yourself, yeah? TikTok,
yeah. I have CapCut on my phone. That's where I edit most of my videos.
What were you like when you were young?
I was I was fun, but I also had a short temper as a kid. You know, I was spoon-fed as a kid too, which I don't, you know, I like, and I was fat, so I used to just play video games all day, man. There's not much to say really. Like I used to play
Did you
video
ever thought you were going to become like a famous comedy guy?
Honestly, no, it still shocks me to this day, man. Like,
What's your family's reaction?
They love it. My mom comes to all my shows, and she's a little too supportive because Indian moms, you know, like she doesn't just bring herself. She brings herself, my sister, the neighbor's cat, my barber. She's got everyone in the crowd. And it was weird because I met, you know, Sandeep's family as well. And what was super strange for them is like his nieces and nephews were like, when we're in school, like people are sending us videos of you and Sandeep, and I'm like, that's my uncle. Like that must be the weirdest thing in the planet, you know? Like my mom and my dad, when they're walking around the neighborhood in India, everyone was sharing my clips, and they're like, that's my son. And like they're not used to it. But you know, in the beginning, I will say this. Sometimes you just have to stick to your gut, because when I first started going viral, I went to the UK last year around Christmas time, and I sat down with my dad, and I'm like, look, Dad, starting to make really good money from this comedy thing, and I'm gonna do it full time now, looking to quit my job, you know, but my job's stable, insurance, health insurance, everything. My dad sits down and he goes, son, you're doing the biggest blunder of your life. What are you? You want to be a failure? I wanted you to be an architecture engineer, and you're still, you know, you're telling jokes, it's fine, but at least keep your job. I was like, Dad, I have to do it. And then somehow he was just like, don't do it. And I was like, fine. And in December, I didn't do it. And then I waited. And then around April of this year, I was like, Dad, I'm going to do it. There's so many brand deals that are coming in right now. I'm making more off of one brand deal than I'm making in an entire month with my salary, right? Like double or triple of that, right? So it's like, it's a no-brainer. And then still my dad was like, no, don't do it. You might not get this job again. And that's kind of like, he's a very old school Indian mindset. You know, he came to Dubai in the 1980s and he worked for an oil company here in Dubai. He also started up his own restaurant, a chain of restaurants around Dubai. So he worked really, really hard in that old school mindset. So he didn't get it. But if I had listened to him, then I would have missed out on probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, which I'm able to now successfully acquire because I took the leap of faith.
Yeah, what do you reckon made you take that leap of faith?
The money. I would say, yeah, a lot of it was the money, a lot of it, but then it was also like, I need to take the gamble in and of myself. With all corporate jobs, to be honest, I never really lasted that long, man. Like I would last like a year or two, but because I'm a comedian, as soon as I would go into the workplace, I would say some shit and then HR would be like, we need to have a meeting. And I'd be like, no, it wasn't me. And then because of that, I would be in and out of jobs all the time. And then to the recruitment firms, they'd be like, so I noticed a gap in your CV. I'd be like, I noticed a gap in your tooth. What? No, but I'm like, no, but like, you know, I couldn't explain it. And then because of that, I couldn't hold down steady jobs. And then my last job was amazing. It was called LMTD, one of the best American companies here in Dubai, an agency. And it was very tough leaving them. Very cozy job. and I was on the works for a raise as well and everything. But even my boss was so freaking cool that he was just like, you know what, just go for this. I think it's your time. So
definitely, man.
Have you had any advice for youngsters to get into social media, like content creation?
Yeah.
What would you give? What advice would you give?
I have 18 modern wealth creation methods. I would say, you know, start right now. Try all of the social media platforms. Try everything that you can. Just be as silly and goofy as you can be. Try streaming and just put your name out there, but do it a bit smart. There is a method to the madness, you know. Find your favorite creators and see what they're doing right. You know, Mr. Beast says with his thumbnails and everything, he has a precise science behind it. And I think behind every social media platform, there is a science. So do your research and then start, but just start today.
Yeah,
is what I'd say.
What about yourself? What advice would you give to your younger self?
To my younger self, don't be so angry all the time, and your hair is not coming back.
Oh, you're quite young. How old are you? Anyway?
I'm 29.
Oh, same age as me then. 29.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Look at you. You've got more follicles and. and that's...
So have you got any other businesses in terms of like cryptocurrencies, stuff like that?
Yeah, so I've been a long-time investor or a hodler in crypto for a couple of years. Made my fair share of losses. You know, I own 100 million Shiba Inu coin. I don't mean to brag, but it's worth nothing at this point. But you know, do your own research. That's the most important thing. But as the years go by and I've learned more about the markets, I've been more practical in my you know DCAing, you know, dollar cost averaging. I invest a certain sum every month, but only to the smart investments, Ethereum, Bitcoin, those kind of things. Still waiting for Cardano to do something, but you know, those kind of things.
What about companies? Like, do you invest in different type of companies?
I have an investment firm called Sarwa. That's one here in Dubai that I would recommend, and it just kind of invests into the S&P market and those kind of things. Yeah. I don't actively invest into startup businesses, but I'm in talks with certain founders here in Dubai, and we want to create a startup business. You know, I'm looking into maybe creating a recruitment firm. That might be something that me and Sandeep are looking into, because it's right up our alley, you know, our niche. Everyone's always looking to employ people, and there's always people seeking jobs. And so me and Sandeep are trying to come together and start a recruitment firm. That might be in the works.
Nice. What about properties? Property investment? Not there yet. You know, I'm not like Ahmed Amwell, who's got like 30 properties across Dubai. So yeah, hopefully in the future, definitely looking into that.
Yeah, one thing about S&P I've realized is there's also, I feel like it can be easily manipulated, like the markets.
For sure, yeah.
So that's one thing like that I'm wary of.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, yeah, I think cryptocurrency, I've done a lot of cryptocurrency as well, yeah.
Yeah, it's even like Wall Street and like, you know, all of those like shorts and longs and all those, yeah, it's like risky trades.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
like...
the thing. I feel like you just need to know like what you're doing and where you're putting your money.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Cool, yeah. So any what's your future plans and what's your goal for now?
I think my future plans is definitely just keep up the content creation for as long as I possibly can. You know, flesh out more of my accents and characters. And then I want to take me and Sandeep global. You know, we're planning to go to South Africa this year. We're planning to do Malaysia. Malaysia is a huge market that wants to see us. The United States as well. So we wanna go and tour these places, and hopefully a TV show in the future is definitely something.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. You and Sandeep, man.
Thank you, man.
What about a Hollywood movie, man?
Yeah, man. In the future, everyone keeps saying I look like Key from Key and Peele, which is something that
I can see it.
Right? So hopefully in the future, yeah, I would love to do Hollywood. Yeah,
it'd be good to see you alongside, you know, Kevin Hart or like people like Cat Williams.
That would be sick.
By the way, who'd you say like your biggest inspirations?
Yeah, man, a lot of inspirations. I would say Patrice O'Neill was one of them, one of the all-time GOATs. I like Jimmy Carr is another one. You know, Mark Normand, Bobby Lee, Andrew Santino. I follow quite a lot of the LA and New York comedians. Joey Diaz.
Joey Diaz.
Yeah, Joey Diaz, yeah, he's
brilliant. Yeah.
If you could sit with one of them, like pick their brains, who would it be?
I think honestly, in terms of content creation, okay, so like if it's content creation, Andrew Schultz, 100%.
Andrew Schultz, yeah.
Killed it in the game, and you know he learned everything from Russ, who is a famous rapper as well. So he's miles ahead of everyone in terms of that. And then if I could sit with anyone for stand-up, man, there's so many. It'd be really tough to...
About Lee Evans.
Never heard of him.
He's more of like a British comedian.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would say Russell Peters, but I sat with him. So, yeah, hopefully, maybe Kevin Hart in the future.
Hart,
I would love to.
I'd like to see you, Sandeep, and Kevin Hart in one stream. I feel like that would be fun,
in an ice bath or something. I feel like that would be...
I've seen I think he's done interviews in an ice bath, isn't it?
Yeah.
But man, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man.
I feel like we'll just wrap this up now. And yeah, man, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure, man. It's been a great conversation. And
yeah, we'll do a part 2 with you and Sandeep.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be crazy.
Yeah, for sure. I'll definitely bring him in next time.
Yeah, and Kevin Hart as well.
Yeah, Kevin Hart as well.
Yeah, man. Thank you, man.
Cheers, man.
Thank you for coming on. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. This is Cashflow Convos. We've got Anand here.
Thank you, guys.
Stand-up comedy guy.
Yeah, guys, make sure you subscribe for more content like this. We've got a lot of more podcasts coming your way, and one with Sandeep as well. So make sure you guys stay locked and make sure you subscribe.
Thank you, guys.